What's up, fam? It's me, and I'm here to do a little talking about the coronavirus, COVID-19, Wuhan virus, China virus, whatever name they want to call it. But I'm here to do a little talking about that because so far I haven't given my 2 cents as far as this whole so-called pandemic mess and all of that they got going on with the coronavirus. Um, but first thing I want to do is I want to bring us back to some reality. Let's come back to some reality. Let's pump the brakes and let's come back to some reality. Because these folks is acting like they out in outer space somewhere, like they in some kind of horror science fiction movie or something like that. I mean, when you walk in the grocery stores and you walk in the Walmarts and the Targets and all of that, it's like you're walking in a ghost town. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So, it's time for us to come out of the fiction and come out of the horror fiction and the sci-fi, and it's time for us to get back to some reality. So let me get you back to some reality and let me get you back to some numbers that we deal with every day. And this article right here that I'm going to read from, because I just want to read a little bit of it because it's one specific thing that I want to point out, comes from health.com. Claire Gillespie, February the 11th, 2020. While everyone is in a panic about the coronavirus, officially renamed COVID-19 by the World Health Organization, there's an even deadlier virus many people are forgetting about: the flu. An even deadlier virus many people are forgetting about: the flu. So because everybody is so focused on corona and these folks are forgetting about the flu, I guarantee you there's going to be a rise in deaths of the flu. Okay? Folks are going to be misdiagnosed. You understand what I'm saying? If folks are not going to be paying attention, and there are going to be even more deaths from the flu because everybody is so caught up and wrapped up in this bullshit talking about corona. Okay? Flu season is hitting its stride right now in the U.S. So far, the CDC has estimated, based on weekly influenza surveillance data, that at least 12,000 people have died from the flu between October 1st, 2019 and February 1st, 2020. October, November, December, January, October, November, December, January, February. So that's a 4-month period. I just wanted to make sure I was counting it right. That's a 4-month period. So in 4 months, 12,000 people have died. So that's, if you break that down, that's the average of 3,000 people a month. An average of 3,000 people at least, because that's what it says here. At least 12,000 people have died from the flu in the United States between October the 1st, 2019 and February the 1st, 2020. And the number of deaths may be as high as 30,000. Now, that's the deadly virus right there. That's the deadly virus. It's already proven itself. It's already proven how deadly it is. It's already proven that it's no joke. It's already proven that you can't get rid of it. It has been around for years. It has mutated. It has switched up. They have called it by different names, but it has been around for years. It has been killing people and has been deadly for years. And we live with it every year. We live with it every day. There's no panic. You understand what I'm saying? There's no rush to buy hand sanitizer and toilet tissue and bottled water and all of that kind of stuff. There's no rush to shut down schools and businesses and all of that. There's no rush to close up the borders and all of that kind of stuff. But we live with this deadly disease every day. A disease that so far has already killed at least 12,000 people, and the number of deaths may be as high as 30,000. I'm gonna keep reading. The CDC also estimates that up to 31 million Americans have caught the flu this season. 31 million. Not thousand, 31 million, an estimated 31 million Americans have caught the flu this season, with 210,000 to 370,000 flu sufferers hospitalized because of the virus. So that's what's going on alongside all of this panic and all of this mass confusion, and all of this mass hysteria and all of this fear mongering about the coronavirus. It ain't like the flu went away. It ain't like corona replaced the flu. The flu is still here. It's still infecting people, and it's still taking out people by the thousands. But again, there's no government bailouts. There's no shutdown. There's no national state of emergency. There's no curfew and closing down restaurants and all of it. There's none of that. And it takes out that estimated that number of people every year. In a 4-month period, almost at least 12,000 people, maybe as high as 30,000 Americans. But we're running around talking about something that so far, they say the death toll is, I think they said it was 141. So if you wanna do some comparing, you compare 141 to 12,000, at least 12,000 people in a 4-month period. If you want to do some comparing, you compare the possible maybe 60 or 70,000 people that they think may be affected with corona to the up to 31 million Americans who have already caught the flu this season. That's just this season. And we don't know how many exact deaths is going to be by the end of this year. But I just want to throw that out there to bring us back to reality, to bring us out of the twilight zone and bring us back to reality, and to bring us back to the fact that we live with a deadly virus every day. We live with the possibility of catching the flu every day and dying from it because it is a killer. But nobody's talking about the flu. Everybody's concentrating, talking about corona, 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 corona. Why? Because a few celebrities got it. Because a few pro ball players got it, or whatever. Everybody's hollering, talking about corona, 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 when most of the deaths have been older Americans that already had health issues. Their immune systems were already not up to par. So in no way am I saying that corona is not real and that it's not something that we should pay attention to or whatever. But all of this carrying on these folks is doing is just absolutely unnecessary. All that the government is doing, all of this shutting down stuff and implementing state of emergencies and talking about quarantines and curfews, and you can't go to restaurants and you can't socialize. It don't need to be no more than 10 people in a group and all of that. That's a little bit too much like the government trying to control some stuff that they should. I mean, when they can start controlling the social order, telling people when they can and cannot leave their homes, telling people when they can and cannot go to work, telling people when they can and cannot go out to eat, telling people when they can and cannot socialize. And they're using this virus to implement all of this stuff. Every bit of it is being, this virus is being used to implement this stuff. I heard Jason Black tonight, and he made a great point. We're talking about Skid Row, because most of the folks on Skid Row are black. He made a great point when talking about Skid Row and talking about some of the poorest areas in America. Okay, just like he said, let them find one case of corona on Skid Row. They're going in with the buses, and they're gonna load all them folks up on them buses, and you ain't gonna never see them again. You ain't gonna never see them folks again. They're gonna start going into the poorest neighborhoods. And the poorest neighborhoods in America are usually black, foundational black American neighborhoods. They're going to start going in these neighborhoods if they find out that there's a case or two of corona, and they're going to start moving people out. So black folks, wake up and realize what this is really all about. Wake up and realize how everybody has they were talking about the discrimination and everything, and racism and xenophobia and all of that against Asian Americans and against Asians and against Asian businesses and all of this kind of stuff and all of that. And I mean, and the Asians hurry up and rose up and let them know, no, we're not going to be discriminated against. We're not going to be treated like this. We're not going to be treated like you treat foundational black Americans. We are the model minority. We are the honorary members of the dominant society, and we're not going to be treated like this. So we need X number of dollars, X number of billions of dollars. You understand what I'm saying? For you to put into our economy, because people are not frequenting our businesses right now. So we need X number of dollars for you to put in our businesses and all of that. And sure enough, they talking about giving it to them. But understand, corona is not this monster killer that they're trying to make it out to be. It's not as deadly. It's not as what's the word I'm trying to find? It's not as unknown as they try to make it out to be. Yeah, it has mutated. It started out as a virus that only attacked animals. And over the years, because them folks over there in China, and they done showed you this themselves. You can see it in videos and all of that, of them eating bats and eating bat soup. And for years they've talked about dogs and eating dogs and cats and rats and all of this kind of stuff. And because of their unsanitary practices as far as food is concerned, food preparation and all of this kind of stuff, this disease has learned how to mutate and grab onto human cells. So now it's affecting humans just like it was infecting animals. Well, when you eat animals that might be infected, come on now. Remember mad cow disease? And they were talking about how people that would eat that cow meat would get sick. So I'm not surprised at all that that the disease finally found its way into a form that could affect human beings. But I just wanted, like I said, I just wanted to use that little bit, and the article will be linked in the description box. I just wanted to use that little bit to bring us back to reality so that we can remember what we're really dealing with. And we can remember that every year, every day, we live with a far more deadly disease, a disease that has already wiped out possibly 1 million people, if not more, over the years. Possibly, I mean, if you got 12,000 dying in 4 months, and the number could reach up to 30,000, and this is just that 4-month period. So it has proven that it's deadly. It has proven itself over the years. But I want to move on, and I want to talk about some of what's going on as far as China is concerned right now. This article is coming out of Bloomberg. Prognosis: as China's virus cases reach zero, experts warn of second wave. March 18, 2020. China will be test case for what happens after lockdown lifts. New virus won't fade out like SARS as it's harder to detect. Because they're saying where the flu, where you might see symptoms of the flu in 2, 3, 4 days or whatever, less than a week, they're saying that this corona can lay dormant for up to 14 days without you seeing any symptoms or whatever of the corona. China has had no new infections of the coronavirus domestically for the first time since the start of a crisis that has sickened over 80,000 Chinese people. But what could be a sign the country has defeated the fatal pathogen is likely to just be a temporary reprieve. While the outbreak's epicenter has shifted to Europe, where there are now more cases being reported daily than at the height of China's crisis, epidemiologists warned that the Asian giant could face subsequent waves of infections based on patterns seen in other pandemics. So they don't have any real facts to base this on. They're just basing it on patterns that they've seen with other diseases, or at other times when there was something going on and they were calling it a pandemic. The nature of this particular virus also raises the risk of a resurgence. The corona is harder to detect and lingers longer than the one that caused severe acute respiratory syndrome in 2003. That's SARS, which infected 8,000 people before fading out. That will make future waves of the new pandemic more difficult to prevent. So see, already, see, this is the mainstream media's job. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to tell you any good news. This is their job. Mass fear, mass hysteria. You understand what I'm saying? Fear mongering to make this thing out worse than what it really is. That's their job. So even though they're reporting that China has not reported any new cases, and it's on the downswing in China. But there's gonna be a resurgence. It's coming back. That will make the future waves of this new pandemic more difficult to prevent. So basically what they're saying is, okay, this is something that we're just not gonna be able to get rid of. This is something that we're just not going to be able to get rid of. It's not going to fade out. We're just not going to be able to get rid of it. Although, in the place where it started, there are zero new cases being reported. As other countries wrestle with how far to close down civic life, they'll be watching China, where the virus first emerged last December, to see what happens when it lifts the harsh lockdowns and social distancing measures that helped curb its outbreak. There were no new cases reported Thursday in Wuhan, the city of central Chinese Hubei province, from which the outbreak began. There have been no new cases in the rest of the country for 7 days. So in the rest of China, there have been no new outbreaks, no new cases in 7 days. A dramatic plunge from the height of an outbreak that killed more than 3,000 and caused a historic economic contraction. 3,000. Now up there, it just said over 80,000 people were infected. Out of that 80,000, it only killed 3,000 people. As huge as China is. I think China got like 1 billion, 2 billion, their population. So out of 80,000 people infected, 3,000 died. And that's still far less than what died here in the United States with the flu in a 4-month period. And see, the thing is, we don't actually know how long China was dealing with this, because they didn't come out when they first found out about it. They tried to keep it hidden. So we don't know how many months, we don't know how long they were dealing with this virus before it finally broke and finally made the news. But 3,000 deaths compared to 12,000 over here, at least 4,000, 12,000 over here in 4 months from the flu. Prolonged social distancing would curb virus, but at high cost. Even if there had been many times more coronavirus cases than officially reported by the Japanese government, less than 1% of the population would have been infected in its first wave, leaving most people in China susceptible, said Raina McIntyre, a biosecurity professor at the University of New South Wales in Sydney. The global pandemic will not be contained until we have a vaccine or most of the population is infected. So see, there she go pushing that vaccine thing. Just like Bill Gates, and we'll hear more about him later on, just like Bill Gates, all of a sudden, as soon as they started talking about this coronavirus in China, he going to collect up all of these millions of dollars and talk about he going to run to Africa, you know what I'm saying, to start, to kind of like, I guess, call itself beating the virus or getting there before it can really take a hold in Africa. And the doctors and the scientists and all that at the CDC and all these other places are wondering now, just like Tariq said, they sound like they might be a little disappointed about why it has not had any more effect on the continent of Africa than it has. And most of the people who have been diagnosed with it in Africa were from somewhere else. They weren't natives from Africa. So here she goes with this vaccine mess. So they're going to produce a disease, and then they're going to produce the vaccine for it. And ain't no telling what's going to be in the vaccine, because you have no idea what's killing people. They talk about coronavirus. Okay, well, there's a whole lot of strains of coronavirus. The flu is a form of coronavirus. So I just wanted to read that. I just wanted to let y'all know what they're reporting as far as China is concerned, and that they're not reporting any new cases, and that outside of Wuhan, in other parts of the country, in other parts of China, it's been 7 days since they've had a new case. But again, the media is being very pessimistic. Watch out, there's another wave coming, there's another wave coming, this disease is so horrible, and this disease is so this, and this disease is so that, so you got to watch out, it's not over yet, it's not over yet, China better watch out, it's not over yet. That fear mongering, keeping people in a perpetual state of panic. And when you're in a perpetual state of fear and panic, you make stupid mistakes and you do stupid stuff. And you allow stupid stuff to go on around you. That's the reason why there's no toilet tissue in the stores. That's the reason why there's no hand sanitizer in the stores. That's the reason why there's no meats in the stores and all of this kind of stuff. It's because fear and panic have made these people go out and spend all of this unnecessary money doing stupid stuff. Stuff that's not going to help them one bit as far as the virus is concerned. But I heard somebody else say this the same tonight, and I was thinking the same thing. But all the deodorant, all the soap, you understand what I'm saying? The guns, the ammunition, the dried foods, all of that kind of stuff still on the shelves. Batteries. all of that kind of stuff is still well stocked. The only thing that's missing is toilet tissue, hand sanitizer, and maybe some bottled water and some meats. Okay, how you gonna, everything shut down? You quarantined. You can't go nowhere. They don't want you to. They don't want you to socialize with anybody. So what you gonna do? Cook up all the? I mean, come on, cook up all the meat. But like I said, when you operating in fear and panic, it makes you do stupid things and it makes you make stupid decisions. And you allow stupid things to go on around you. Like I said, why are we going through any of this? Why are we going through schools being closed? Why are we going through businesses being closed? Why are we going through, states and cities and all of this, passing all of these ordinances and all of this kind of stuff where you can't do this and you can't be out and curfews and all of this kind of stuff over this, but we never did it over the flu. And the flu has already proven itself. I've never heard of a school being closed because of the flu. I've never heard of businesses being shut down because of the flu. So all of this is ridiculous. But your government, you understand what I'm saying? And the powers that be are wondering just how far you're willing to go with this, or just how far you're willing to let them go with this. Just how much control you're willing to give them when they tell you where you can and you can't go. When they tell you who you can and can't socialize with. I heard one person call it soft martial law, which means this is the first step to martial law. If we keep on acting stupid and going along with this stuff and acting in a state of fear and panic, and the next thing you know, they'll be herding people into them FEMA camps. And most of those people they herd into them FEMA camps will be black. And foundational black American folks really need to wake up. I mean, come on. We live under the threat of violence, harm, death every day just for being black. You can walk out your door, get in your car. You understand what I'm saying? And get stopped for a traffic ticket and get your brains blowed out. Ask Sandra Bland. Ask Philando Castile. Your child can be running around outside at the playground, doing what children do, playing at the playground, and not make it home. Your son could be leaving a friend's house, walking home, and run into the wrong white supremacists and not make it home. So we have a constant target on our backs. Constant, every day. Just simply for being black. So if you don't live in fear of that every day, then why are you living in fear of this? If the fear of that don't keep you quarantined and keep you locked up in your house and keep you from socializing and keep you from going here and going there, if the fear of that and keep you from going to work and keep you from sending your kids to school and all of that, if the fear of if that constant threat of violence and death that's over you just because you're black, you're a foundational black American, if that don't stop you from doing all of these things, then why is Corona stopping you from doing it? Why are you buying into this? As foundational black Americans, we have lived under the threat of death and violence for 400 plus years. So what's the difference? You rather somebody kill you than a disease attack you or whatever the case may be. Black folks really need to get it together. You know what I'm saying? If just living in America every day as a foundational Black American, if that ain't got you going out buying cases of toilet tissue and cases of hand sanitizer and all of that because you get ready to barricade yourself in the house or whatever, if the fear of that doesn't make you do all of these things, then why is talking about a coronavirus making you do all of that? And then you spending your money when you need your money because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what's coming next. So you need your money. Then you spending your money on totally unnecessary shit. Well, that's what most Black people do. Not all, but that's what most Black people do. They spend their money on totally unnecessary stuff. Even in the best of times, they spend their money on totally unnecessary stuff. So even in this, you're spending your money on totally unnecessary stuff. What is hand sanitizer going to do? You put hand sanitizer on and wipe your hands. All you're doing is moving the germs around on your hands. If anything, you need the foaming hand sanitizer that'll foam up like soap, and you rinse it off real good with hot water. But soap and water is all you need. But folks that's been raised right, and folks that's been raised to have the right type of hygiene and the right type of personal hygiene understand. Washing your hands is supposed to be a part of everybody's daily routine, no matter what's going on. But what is toilet tissue going to do to ward off or to help you keep from being infected with the coronavirus? What is toilet tissue going to do? And these stores like Walmart and Target and all of them and all of these other stores and these big companies that sell all these paper products and all of this kind of stuff, they ain't concerned because they're making all this money. They're making all of this money. If they were concerned, they would limit how much of these products any one customer could buy. But they ain't concerned about you. I got a friend that works at Walmart. And I think she said that now that everything was gone, everything was sold out, you know, the shelves are empty. Now Walmart wants to limit what you can get. Well, it ain't nothing to get now because it's all gone. But they made all of that money. And then you got all of these folks buying all of this stuff and hoarding it and price gouging and selling stuff on Amazon and on eBay for these outrageous prices and all of that. This is just an opportunity. That's all the coronavirus is. The coronavirus and all of this so-called pandemic mess is just an opportunity for folks to do what they been wanting to do. Act the fool and show how heartless they are and how evil they are, and these white supremacists to do what they want to do. That's all it is. Everybody sees it as an opportunity to make some money. Everybody sees it as an opportunity to get what they want for their group, to get what they want for their people. Everybody sees it as an opportunity to maybe you know get rid of some black folks, since the virus ain't getting them. The virus ain't getting us like it was supposed to be getting us. It has backfired. They're gonna have to find some other kind of way to make this virus work against us. I mean, I want you to think about it. You need to stop for a minute and just think, and that'll be a little bit of common sense and a little bit of rationality come in. I want you to think about it for a minute. Why was Bill Gates, as soon as they started talking about this corona in China, why was his first notion to run to Africa? He ain't talking about running to Africa now. But that's the first thing that came out of his mouth. All of these millions of dollars to go to Africa to stop the coronavirus. And it still has not taken a hold in Africa. It backfired and it started killing the wrong people. It started killing the people that it wasn't meant to kill. It started infecting the people that it wasn't meant to infect. So now we got to have states of emergency and all kinds of stuff. We got to have all kinds of stimulus packages. We got to have all kinds of curfews. We got to have all kinds of shutdowns. We got to close borders. We got to do all that now. Why? Because Corona attacked the people that it wasn't supposed to attack. Let's be real, folks. If the folks that were being infected and the folks that were dying were black, foundational black Americans, you wouldn't see all this going on. You wouldn't see all this going on. Toilet tissue would still be there. Hand sanitizer would still be there. Food would still be there. Wouldn't be no state of emergency. Schools would still be open. Businesses would still be open. People could still go in and run their businesses. It would be business as usual. Nothing would stop. Nothing would slow down. It's just a bunch of dead niggas. But it's attacking the folks that it wasn't supposed to attack. And it's attacking economies. It's attacking their money. It's attacking the stock market. So we got to do something. We got to put certain things in place. And you see how quick everybody came together on the Democrat side and the Republican side. How quick everybody came together to get all of these measures in place. In the space of what? 24, 36 hours? Everybody was on the same page. The Democrats in the Senate and the Republicans in the Senate, Donald Trump, all of them, everybody was on the same page. Just that quick. That's how quick they got on code. While us black folks running around, some of us, not all of us, but some of us running around just looking stupid as hell and saying some real stupid shit on Twitter and other places, just saying some real stupid shit that makes absolutely no sense. But we'll get to that. But that's all I wanted to read as far as letting you know what they're saying is about Corona in China, and that, zero cases reported in some areas of China. They haven't had a new case in 7 days. But that's not what the mainstream media wants you to take from that. The mainstream media wants you to take from it, oh, but we can't relax. Oh, but it's more coming. It's more coming. How you know it's more coming? How you know? What insider information do you have that makes you think that it'll calm down and then there's just going to be this awful resurgence that's probably going to be worse than the first outbreak? That's basically what they're saying. But let's move on. Now, let's go to talk about what Trump and the Republicans and the Democrats and all of them came together. But first, let's talk about Miss Grace Ming. We're going to talk about Grace Ming first. So Grace Ming is a representative, an Asian representative in the New York 6th Congressional District. And since this Corona thing has come out, she has really been pushing for her group. She has really been pushing for Asians. She has really been pushing for Asians and Asian Americans. She's pushing. She's hooked up with this other woman, this other representative by the name of Nydia Velázquez. She sounds like she may be Hispanic, but they stick together when it's necessary. Everybody comes together when it's necessary to go against Gus, and maybe just maybe Velázquez thinks that there may be something in this for her group on the end of it. But Miss Nancy has been doing a whole lot, honey. Her and Velázquez have introduced this bill to give $7 billion. Was it $7 billion? Yeah, $7 billion to the Asian American businesses because of the impact that their businesses are having because of Corona. Folks are not folks are not going to their businesses. Folks are not going to their restaurants. Folks are just not. And they want to act like it's racism and all of this kind of stuff, and it's discrimination and all of this, and then they want to get all upset when people call it the Chinese virus or when people call it the Wuhan virus or whatever. Why? It came out of China. So why can't it be called the China virus? It came out of specifically Wuhan. So why can't it be called the Wuhan virus? Ebola was called the Nile disease. The Nile River disease or something like that. Didn't nobody raise no hell about that. Didn't nobody raise no hell about MERS, and I think MERS is Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. Ain't nobody raised no hell about that and called them racist. Swine flu, named after pig. Bird flu, named after the bird that it supposedly came from. Lyme disease that came from the tick comes from a place in Connecticut called Lyme something. So what's racist about calling corona the Chinese virus or the Wuhan virus, since that's where it originated? That's where it came from. But now you got all of these folks and all these Democrats and this Grace Ming woman, and you got all these folks coming out talking about it's racist and all of this kind of stuff to call it what it is. And you know, it's ridiculous. And I mean, she's just calling for all kinds of stuff. She want mortgage lenders to stop process their processes. She just calling for, like I said, she called for $7 billion for the government to bail out these Asian businesses because people are not frequenting their businesses. And I don't know how well that's gonna go over now that all businesses are being closed. They're closing down all restaurants. They've closed down restaurants in New York. They've closed down restaurants, I believe, in New Jersey, in Boston. They've got this everything is closed down, and they're trying to tell people to stay in. You know, don't move around, don't come out unless you got a doctor's appointment, or you know, or you got to go to the grocery store or something like that. California, I think it's San Francisco, has this curfew. So all businesses are being affected now because some businesses have actually shut down. So all businesses are being affected now. So I don't know whether they're going to be able to push through with this thing specifically for Asian American businesses, since all businesses, even white businesses, will suffer from all of these close downs and all of these distancing measures and all of this kind of stuff. But she's even asking for something for Korean folk. Let me find it. Or if you got her page, she just got all kinds of stuff listed. She wants them to extend the census, because with all of these distancing measures and all of this, you know, the census workers may not be able to get in to actually see people and talk to people face to face. So she wants them to extend the census. Until further notice, all restaurant, bars, movie theaters, gyms will close at 8 p.m. in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Now, that was March the 16th. Since then, I do believe they have shut them down and told them not to open their businesses because they don't want any more than 10 people in one area at a time. Senator Tom Cotton, tweeted this: "The time has come for extraordinary measures to combat the Chinese coronavirus. What seems extreme today will seem obvious tomorrow." And, you know, she retweeted what he said, and this is what she had to say. "Please be responsible and call it the coronavirus or COVID-19. And who has helpful guidance for naming of new human infectious diseases. Pro tip: disease names may not include geographic locations like cities, countries, regions, or continents." When? When did they stop? Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. The Nile River disease. So when did they start using when did they stop using geographical locations and cities and countries and regions and all of that to name diseases? But see, this is how these Asians are acting now that they're getting just a little taste of the racism. They're getting just a little taste of the discrimination that we've had to endure for 400 plus years. And they fighting back. They're refusing to be treated like the minority that they are. Because again, remember, they consider themselves honorary white folk, members of the dominant society. But let me go on. There's something she had in here about I'm still looking because there's something she had in here about Korean Americans. And I want to find that. I mean, she been busy, honey, since this corona came out. I'm on her Twitter looking for what I need to find. Oh, get this. Get this. This is something she tweeted March the 12th. I asked at Stephen M. Nutchin one about POTUS's dangerous comments on coronavirus. Now that at State Department's Global Disinformation Center has reported that Russia is spreading misinformation about the virus. POTUS fact-free approach plays into Russia's hands. So already now she's trying to connect Russia to this. Like, what the hell does Russia have to do with Corona when Corona started in China? So what does Russia have to do with this? Again, it reminds you of when we were talking about tangibles and no tangibles, no vote, and all of that, and all the stuff that was going on back in 2016 and the stuff in 2018. They tried to blame it on Russian bots, tried to act like it was now she trying to invoke this thing about Russia. Hold on, there's one more thing in here. Shocked that this was March the 10th. Shocked and dismayed that GOP leader has referred to the corona as the Chinese coronavirus. This labeling of the illness is embarrassing, disrespectful, and offensive, and downright disgusting. He must immediately apologize. My full statement below. Why must he apologize? For it came out of China. It's a Chinese, that's where it originated from. So how is that offensive? How is that disrespectful? Because China wants to distance itself from this virus. It wants to distance itself so that it won't feel the global impact of this virus. And of course, the Asians and the Asian Americans here want to distance themselves from it so they won't feel the impact of it. But there's nothing offensive or disrespectful about that. That's where it came from. Here it is. This is something she tweeted March 9th. Tonight, the House passed my Divided Families Reunification Act that would help Korean American families reunite with loved ones in DPRK who've been separated since the Korean War. My bill requires at the State Department to work with South Korea on opportunities for reunions. Now on to the Senate. So I mean, she pushing hard for her people, for her group. Now, in none of those tweets do I hear her say anything, because she, down here is when she starts tweeting about the effect that it's having on the Asian community as far as their businesses are concerned. Get this, March 7th, 55 years ago, 600 civil rights activists, including now at Representative John Lewis, were brutally beaten, all for protesting and marching against racial inequality and disenfranchisement. Their courage forever changed the course of our history and led to the Voting Rights Act. We cannot ever forget their bravery and must always fight for what is right. Okay, so now all of a sudden, and she's talking about Bloody Sunday. So now all of a sudden, you want to identify with black folks, and you want to identify with the black struggle. But Asians don't identify with black folks. Asians don't like black folks. Asians don't usually socialize with black folks. Asians don't do business with black folks. But when you think that you can use our struggle to benefit you and your group somehow, there it is. Oh, is she real big on this immigrant thing and Department of Homeland Security budgets, and she's real big on this immigrant thing. House and Senate have passed a provision based on a bill I introduced with Nydia Velasquez and Representative Judy Chu that would allow $7 billion in loans for small businesses that have suffered economic losses due to the corona. Measure was included in spending packages to address the outbreak. Tomorrow, Donald Trump is expected to sign this $8.3 billion spending package into law, critical to dedicate the resources needed to respond to the corona and not forget about the many small businesses that have been negatively impacted. Now, there's one tweet where she talks specifically about Asian Americans. March 3, misinformation and xenophobia. So you always got to be labeled. Folks always got to be labeled. But when you label them, then they got a problem with it. Misinformation and xenophobia about coronas has hit Asian American owned businesses hard. Congress must pass legislation I've introduced with at Nydia Velasquez and at Representative Judy Chu that would make interest-free loans available to small biz that have been impacted. So she specifically talks about how the Asian American businesses have been impacted because of misinformation and xenophobia. What's the misinformation? It came out of China. There's no misinformation there. It came out of China. And it's been said that it came from the bats. And we've seen the videos of these folks in China eating bats and drinking bat soup and all of this kind of stuff. Like I said, we've seen all the videos, heard all the stories about, them cooking dogs and cats and rats, and we've seen the stories of how unsanitary they are with their food and with the food preparation and all of that. So how is it xenophobic after you see all of this and you find out all of this and you find out that this strand of corona used to just infect animals? Now it has mutated to infect humans. How are you being xenophobic if you decide that you want to protect yourself and you don't want to eat at an Asian restaurant? Or you don't want to frequent an Asian business? How are you being xenophobic when it came out of Asia? When those were the first people that were infected. So if it spread from them. So how's that being xenophobic? But I'll have her Twitter linked in the description box, and you can go see all of this stuff that she's talking about. You can go see, how she's pushing hard for immigrants and how she's pushing hard, to get all of this legislation passed and all of that. Now, like I said, unless Trump is going to put some specific wording in what he plans on doing, what he's planning on doing is supposed to help all small businesses that have been impacted by corona. I don't think it distinguishes between Asian American businesses and any other business, but we'll see. But I just want you to see how she's pushing hard for her group. She's pushing hard for her group, and this is what representation looks like. This is what representation looks like. This is why you vote for people. This is why you send people into these different places. The Congress, Senate, mayors, governors. That's the reason why you send your representatives, so that they can represent you and push for you like this woman is doing. That's called representation. And that's something that foundational Black Americans don't have. So in all honesty, I can't be mad at her for doing what her people, her group sent her there to do. Push for them. Push for things that specifically impacts them and their community. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing. That's what her constituents, the taxpayers or whatever, pay her to do. And she's working overtime. They should pay her some overtime. because she owned it. But instead of us having black folks and black representatives and black politicians and black pastors and all of this kind of stuff coming out, you know, representing us and representing our issues and fighting for stuff that's just for our group, we got black folk like this coming out. And he ain't the only one. He's just the one that most people have recognized and that most people are speaking on. But he's not the only one. All these folks cooning and all these folks talking about, you know, we need to support the Asian businesses and we need to do this and we need to do that. No, we don't. But anyway, this tweet comes from Sir GBS, Great Black Shark. Ask yourself when any other group has campaigned to economically support black businesses. This moron is infected with a slave-like mindset that no sane black person would co-sign. While it is caping for them, this is how most Asians are thinking. We owe them nothing. Hashtag HYON, hold your own nuts. And he tweeted that based on what this dude, and he's supposed to be a pastor. I heard he was a pastor. But and we're not gonna get into that because you know, it's time for folks to stop hiding behind religion and doing their coonery and their buffoonery, their fuckery, their foolishness behind religion. Because that cover has been blown. So it's time for folks to stop. You know, folks is just looking for attention from the dominant society to see what crumbs they can get from the dominant society's table. Mika Edmondson. Looking for a way to resist xenophobia. Now, there he go with the xenophobia word just like her. Xenophobia is supposed to be this, I guess, this hatred of other ethnic groups. And I done told y'all over and over and over again, a phobia is not a hatred. A phobia is an irrational fear. So I guess now we just have this irrational fear of Asians. Even though that's where most black women go get their hair, and that's where most black women go get their nails done, from Asians. And we have, for years, supported their restaurants. So if we were xenophobic, but anyway, looking for a way to resist xenophobia and support our Asian and Asian American neighbors. Perhaps deliberately eat at your local Asian-owned restaurant and leave a big tip. Then take a picture and ask others to do the same. Now, this is a black man by the name of Mika Edmondson. I don't know whether he's a Foundation of Black American or what. But then he has the hashtag resist xenophobia. Okay, but tell me what's xenophobic about you seeing firsthand, because like I said, they have videos showing it now. You seeing firsthand these people cooking and eating bats and bat soup. You understand what I'm saying? You see the unsanitary conditions. You see how they are with their food preparation and all of this kind of stuff. And now, and I believe it is, I might be wrong, but I believe it is due to that, due to all of that unsanitary stuff that has gone on for so many years, and them eating dogs and cats and rats and bats and all of this kind of stuff. I think that's the reason why this virus, this corona was able to mutate and infect humans. It's because of the interaction that these Chinese people were having with all of these animals and all of this kind of stuff. So we see that. You understand what I'm saying? And we see that there is this virus that has come out of China. And probably because of that. So how is it xenophobia if you decide, well, I don't want to risk that? You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to put my health at risk by going sitting down eating at one of their restaurants. Now, since I see how unsanitary they are. Now, since I see that these folks are cooking and eating anything. So how is it being xenophobic if you decide that you just don't want to deal with that? How is it being xenophobic when you know that the disease is coming out of China? Okay, you're going to these Asian businesses. You don't know whether somebody in the family just left China or what. So you don't know whether somebody's infected or what. So to safeguard yourself, your families, your communities, you just don't go. There's nothing xenophobic about that. That makes common sense. That makes absolute common sense. But this is my question for this Mika Edmondson dude. My question for him is, where's his post telling people to go support black businesses? Where's his post telling people to go eat at a black restaurant or go support a black business, leave a big tip, then take a picture of yourself, at that business or whatever, and then encourage other people to do that. Where's his tweet on that? Where's his tweet telling people to support black businesses? Where's his tweet saying, if you're looking for a way to resist white supremacy, if you're looking for a way to resist racism, if you're looking for a way to resist discrimination, why don't you deliberately go eat at a black restaurant? Why don't you deliberately go do business at a black-owned business? But you don't see that. Why? Just like the brother said, these folks steeped in that slave mentality. They got one foot on and one foot off the plantation, riding the fence, and they steeped in that slave mentality because they still think if they just say the right thing, you understand what I'm saying? Just go along with the program, they're going to get some crumbs from master's table. But I'll also leave a link to this because there's also, and I can't see it right now because I don't have my glasses on, but there's also a picture of something that a gentleman by the name of Mr. Chang said. Asian interviewer, can you address their concern, Mr. Chang? Mr. Chang, the concerns of black people. Yes, I can. The fact is that we all live under a system of white supremacy. We Asians people look back at our long history of conflict with the Europeans. So, I want you to go in and read what he has to say. But yeah, I just, this is what black folks are doing. This is what black folks are doing. Okay, just like the brother asked the question, when has any other group campaigned to economically support black businesses? Because the Asians make it clear that they don't do business with black folks. They don't come into the black community to buy anything. They don't come in the black community to do any business with us. And except for to open up their shops so we can go to them. But they don't come to buy from us or to get goods and services from us. They make it clear that they only do business with their own, basically, or the dominant society. Same thing with Hispanics. Same thing with these Middle Eastern and these Arabs that you see with a store on every corner. Usually, when you see somebody working in there, they have other family members in there, and if they have somebody else, it'll be a white woman. It'll be a white woman. They won't hire black people. So what other group is coming at us now? You understand what I'm saying? Because now we know all businesses are suffering. What group, what Asians are posting, if you don't want to look like you're racist, if you don't want to look like you're discriminating, please go support this black business. Please go eat at this black restaurant. What Asian is doing that? What Hispanic is doing that? When this woman asked, this mean woman that just got finished, when she asked for some money to help with the businesses and all that, she specifically said Asian American. She didn't say minority. She didn't say black. She specifically said Asian American. So why have we got to ride in and be the superheroes? Why have we got to ride in and convince everybody, oh yeah, you need to go, deal with them Asians, and you need to keep doing business with them Asians, and you need to keep eating at their restaurants and all of that kind of stuff? No, they don't support us in any kind of way. As a matter of fact, they don't like us. They are very racist towards us. So why are we going to support a group of people that when our people go and give them their money, they jumping on them and beating them and brutalizing them in their businesses? But this is the kind of cooning mess that these black folks are on. We're not obligated to do anything for anybody. We don't owe anybody. We don't owe the Asians anything. We don't owe the dominant society anything. We don't owe Indians, Middle Easterners, Arabs, LGBT, white women, we don't owe anybody anything. Because everything that they have, they got off of our free labor, off of our blood, sweat, and tears, off of our broken backs and broken bodies and broken spirits. Everything that they got. So we don't owe anybody anything. We don't owe anybody any debts of gratitude. We don't owe anybody any support. We don't owe anybody any of that because nobody supports us. And black folks, you need to wake up and realize that you can't let these people shame you into supporting stuff that you know is wrong. And there's nothing xenophobic about just not wanting to go do business with these people when a whole disease didn't come out of the country. And these are the same people that are beating your sisters and your mamas and your aunts and your grandmamas and your daughters in their businesses, in their nail salons and their beauty supply stores. Just treating us with hate and disdain and total disrespect and excuse me, and disregard. But we're supposed to now that they experiencing just a little taste of what we have been experiencing for 400 and some years. Now we're supposed to, get the bat and go to bat for them. No. Hell to the no. But you notice we got the congressional black talkers up there, and you notice ain't nobody introduced or said anything about introducing a bill for X number of billions of dollars to help small black to help black small businesses that are suffering from the economic backlash of the coronavirus. You don't see any black politician talking about offering a bill like that. That's because we have no representation. That's the reason why we ain't got no business voting. Because we have nobody to vote for. We have no representation. Nobody is there representing us. Nobody is speaking up on our behalf. So who we going to vote for? Now, let's get back to talking about old Trump and talking about this stimulus plan that he's supposed to be done come up with. And this is coming out of WRDW.com 12 News. Trump taps emergency powers as virus relief plan proceeds. And you can read the whole article, but I'm just going to read what this plan is supposed to entail. In a memorandum issued Wednesday, Treasury is calling for $250 billion cash infusions to individuals. A first set of checks issued starting April 6, with a second wave in mid-May. The amounts would depend on income and family size. The Treasury plan, which requires approval by Congress, also recommends $50 billion to stabilize the airlines, $150 billion to issue loan guarantees to other struggling sectors, and $300 billion for small businesses. Now, there it doesn't specifically say minority businesses. It doesn't specifically say Asian American businesses. It just says small businesses. So if that's the case, and if that's the way it's really worded in the plan, we're going to see how much black people, how much black small business owners are going to be able to, how much of this money they're going to be able to get. Trump announced Wednesday at a White House briefing he's invoking the Defense Production Act to produce vitally needed goods to fight the virus. He said he would sign the act in case we need it, as the government bolsters resources for an expected surge in cases of the virus. More than 24 Senate Democrats have been urging Trump to invoke the Defense Production Act to increase production of needed masks, ventilators, and respirators. Use of the law will also help expand hospital capacity to combat the virus. Trump announced at a White House briefing Wednesday that he will sign the papers to invoke the act later in the day. FEMA is activated at level 1, the highest level, Trump said. Ships Mercy and Comfort, hospital ships that respond to natural disasters, are also going to be sent in response to the crisis, depending on the need, Trump said. So FEMA's already involved. But let's remember how FEMA acted and what FEMA did during Trina. And this Grace Ming woman over here talking about help reunite families from the Korean War, and and some of the family members and the children that just disappeared in Katrina still haven't been found. But nobody's talking about passing or trying to push through any kind of bill or any kind of law to go find out where these people are. Yeah, a lot of the little black children, that got misplaced during Katrina have still never been found. and they've still never been reunited with their families. Whole lot of people haven't been found. But I'm not surprised that FEMA's thrown in there because FEMA would play a very, very big role if they decided to declare martial law. FEMA would play a very, very big role if they decided they're going to go into some of these poor areas and start cleaning them out to go into those FEMA camps. Yeah. But that's it for that article. I just wanted to let you know what his plan is supposed to entail, and there's supposed to be two cash payouts to individual Americans. One around April the 6th, the other in mid-May, and then there's all this money to help the airlines, other private sector, and $3 million is supposed to be allocated to help with small businesses. So we'll see how that turns out. We'll see if any black folks end up with that money, or if they do that selective thing and they select which black folks they're going to give a little taste of change to. But now I want to get to the biggest part of the story. No, first I want to say this. I don't know whether anybody has noticed this or whether anybody has paid attention to this or not. I have, and it kind of struck me. Usually when we have any kind of global crisis, we have anything, any kind of global conflict, we have anything that's going on globally, and it goes on for a while, usually it starts affecting gas prices. And gas prices start creeping up and up and up and up and up. That's usually what happens. But I noticed something in the last week. Now, gas prices were going down anyway, which kind of shook me and was kind of suspect. But I noticed within the last 7 days, gas prices here in North Carolina, I live in Greensville, North Carolina, gas prices have gone down 20 cents in the last 4 or 5 days. I went out, this was before the weekend. I think it was maybe Wednesday, Thursday. I went out, gas was $1.99 a gallon. I went out maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and it was $1.89. I went out today, gas was $1.79. I have not seen those kind of prices in years. I mean years since I've seen those type of prices. And it's steady dropping. A 20-cent drop in gas prices in the space of, like I said, less than a week. And usually when we have this kind of crisis or so-called crisis, or like I said, anything that's impacting the global community, impacting the stock market and all that, shit just starts going up. Food goes up sky high, gas goes up sky high, all of that. But gas is going down. That's something to think about. And I want to throw this out there too, because these folks thought that they was going to be slick. eBay bans sales of face masks, hand sanitizer to stop coronavirus price gouging. Despite the crackdown, you can still find Purell hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes, and N15 masks being sold on the eBay site at exorbitant prices, ranging from $35 to $100 per pack. Just showing. And there's some guy, I can't remember where he was, but there's some guy that had a whole garage full of hand sanitizers. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why a lot of these people are buying this stuff in bulk, so they can then turn around and sell it. Because everybody trying to make a profit. Everybody trying to get over right now. And because of this mass hysteria, because of this fear and this panic, folks are actually wasting their money like that. And these folks need to go to jail. These folks, if they're found selling this stuff and selling this stuff for all these outrageous prices and all that kind of stuff, these people need to be charged and go to jail. Because now is not the time for it. And there's no way that eBay, Amazon, those type of sites, there's no way they're going to be able to catch up with everybody. The sites are too big, they're too large, they're entirely too many users. So there's no way that they're going to be able to catch up with everybody. And these folks ain't caring nothing about no ban. My question is this: when did black people become so doggone scary? When did black people become so scary and so soft? Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Integration. Integration took warriors and turned them into sissies. That's what integration did. Took fighters and turned them into little girls running and squealing. That's what integration did. Now, if the dominant society and all of these other folks and these other groups of people, if they want to go out there and they want to act a fool and they want to act stupid or whatever the case may be, let them do that. But foundational black Americans need to get somewhere and sit down, like I said, considering the fact that we live under the threat of violence and death and danger every day of our lives. So we really need to get somewhere and sit down. But now I can get to the biggest story of the night. And I haven't heard anybody say anything about this. If they did, I missed it. But my daughter brought this to my attention the other day. And you know, and a couple of pieces started falling into place, started finding themselves into place when I read this. But this is coming out of businessinsider.com, March 16, 2020. Bill Gates is leaving the boards of Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway. Here are the most notable top executive departures of 2020 so far. Now, in itself, this is not a story because people switch up, people retire, you know, they get rid of one CEO and put another CEO in there and all of this kind of stuff. That goes on all the time. But what's really, really shady and suspect about this is one, the timing, two, how many executives you have leaving in just the first 3 months of this year. And also, some of these folks have been in these positions for 10, 15, 20 years. And without any announcement, without any forewarning, without any preamble or anything, they just jump up all of a sudden and decide that they're ready to step down as CEO. So it's the timing, it's the number of folks leaving, and the fact that these folks are leaving big, huge, major companies. I had another point, but it slipped my mind, so let me go on and read. Microsoft founder Bill Gates announced the decision to step down from the boards of Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway in a LinkedIn post on March 13th. That's March 13th. Okay, let me read this first so you can get a grasp of what I'm talking about. Several notable executives have stepped down or announced that they're stepping down in 2020. In fact, January 2020 set a record for the most CEO departures in the U.S. in 1 month, 219 in all. So 219 notable executives have either stepped down or announced that they're going to step down. And in January, you had 219 people. In that 1 month, you had 219 executives, CEOs, presidents, vice presidents, big folks in these companies to jump ship. 219 in 1 month. Okay? You got Bill Gates talking about leaving in March. You got Maynard Ginsberg, the CEO of the company that oversees Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, and Match, leaving January the 28th. after 14 years. Disney said on January 31st that Hulu CEO Randy Freer would be departing, with no direct replacement, and company leaders reporting to Disney's Kevin Mayer. Adam Byerman, CEO and co-founder of the cannabis company Mad Men, stepped down February the 1st. Terry Booth, the CEO of Aurora Cannabis, announced he was stepping down and retiring on February the 6th. Tyler Haney, founder and CEO of the clothing brand Outdoor Voices, stepped down on February the 21st. Okay, it's tripping. Hold on, y'all. Fastly CEO Arthur Bergman said on February the 22nd he would leave the position less than a year after the internet infrastructure company went public. Now, I'm not naming all of them. I'm just naming a few of the big ones. Bob Iger. Hold on. Lex Wexner, CEO of L Brands, a retail company that includes Victoria's Secrets and Bath and Body Works, stepped down on February the 20th after almost 60 years. He was the longest tenured CEO of any Fortune 500 company of the time. Bob Iger of Disney stepped down. Let's see if we can get when he stepped down. Oh, come on. Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, and Keith Block, co-CEO of Salesforce, stepped down from their roles on February the 25th. Do you see how many Februarys we got? February 25th, February 28th, February 21st, February. Then Bill Gates followed suit in early March, early part of this month. So my question is, why are all these big wigs who, like I said, have been in position for years and years and years, made billions of dollars for themselves, billions of dollars for the companies and all of that, why are these folks jumping ship all of a sudden? Why did they start jumping ship in January? 219 people stepped down in 1 month in January. And that was before Corona struck like it's supposed to be striking over here. So why are all these people jumping ship? What did they know that we didn't know? What did they know about how the disease was going to eventually end up here, how it was going to affect the stock market, affect the economy, affect businesses, and all of that? How did they know? What did they know? When did they know? So that they could go ahead on and remove themselves. That's my question. The timing. And the fact that these people are huge. These companies are huge. And like I said, they have been in place for years. So what made all of these folks jump ship? In the first 3 months of this year, you have all of these folks of all of these major companies, some Fortune 500 companies, you have all of these folks jumping ship. What did they know about what would happen when Corona got here? How did they even know that Corona was going to get here? Because they had to know something. 219 people jumped ship in 1 month. And that's not all of them. That was just in January. You got all these folks in February, folks in March. There's some people that are talking about leaving in April. What did they know? What did they know about all of this shutdown, how the government was going to declare a state of emergency? You know what I'm saying? Schools, businesses, and all this kind of stuff was going to be shut down. What did they know about all of this stuff? And because of what they knew, they went ahead on and moved themselves out of the way. They went on ahead and made all of their riches and took all of their riches that they have made. You understand what I'm saying? From these different companies, they took all of those riches, all of that wealth, and they jetted. What did they know? What did they know that you got all of these big CEOs and all of these multi-billionaires and all of this kind of stuff jumping ship just when or right before Corona hits and the stock market starts taking downward turns and is on a downward spiral. The economy is all messed up. What did they know? Because we already know Bill Gates is all linked up. We already know the Disney dude got to be linked up. You understand what I'm saying? We already know that Bill Gates is a part of that whole population control agenda, that whole eugenics crowd. You understand what I'm saying? They say he did a TED talk where he actually admitted that he was in favor of depopulation and some things that were going to happen that were going to help along with that cause. He did a TED talk on it. That's your homework, to look that up and listen to what he said. And remember, it was Bill that as soon as the reports started coming out of Wuhan, it was Bill Gates that decided, okay, well, we got to rush over here to Africa. We got to get up $60 billion and we got to rush over here to Africa. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's stepping down as CEO of his companies. Think, people. Think. Use your common sense. What did they know that we didn't know? Because they had to know it well ahead of time for all of them folks to jump ship in 1 month. As soon as January 2020 came in, they started jumping ship. And they still jumping ship. What is it that they know? Or that they knew? And how did they know? Like I said, we know Bill Gates is linked in. We know, I'm quite sure that Bob Iger is linked in. Probably all of these folks are linked in. But that's just a little too coincidental. That all of these folks jumping ship just before or right around the time when all the shit started hitting the fan, so-called, as far as the coronavirus is concerned. I thought that was real, real interesting and real suspect. And I'm not on no conspiracy theory stuff. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry, but I had to take something. My head trying to give me a little, I'm trying to get a little headache. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? But folks do a little bit too much with that conspiracy theory, especially with that whole that word, that little quote unquote conspiracy theorists. And they make it sound so ominous, and they make people sound like they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or you locked up in the Twilight Zone, or you locked up in some sci-fi movie or whatever. If you believe in all of these conspiracy theories, the word conspiracy simply means something that's planned. A conspiracy is simply a plan. Now, most of the time, it's a covert plan. It's a plan that everybody does not know about. You know what I'm saying? It may just be one person. It may be just two or three. It may be a small group of people or whatever. But that's all a conspiracy is a plan. When they say that you are guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, that means that you got with somebody else or whatever the case may be, or just got with yourself and you planned to commit this murder. You know, they say you conspired to embezzle all that money. All it simply means is you had a plan in place and you followed that plan, you executed that plan so that you could steal that money. That's all a conspiracy is. And just the actions of some of these people, the actions of the federal government, the actions of course, the white mainstream media, all of those things together make it look like this was a plan. I still say it was a plan that backfired. I do believe that the virus was supposed to start in China and then hop over to Africa and do its major damage there. That's the reason why as soon as all of this corona hit the news and all of that, Bill Gates is deciding, I'm gonna get $60 million together and I'm gonna run over here to Africa. It was a plan that backfired. Let me ask you this question, family. Because they say there's a reported 141 deaths. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that we would be having, do you think that Donald Trump would have called a state of emergency? Do you think we'd be having all these shutdowns and all of this, you can't open your businesses, all of this social distancing and all of this stuff that's going on, any kind of stimulus package or anything like that? Do you think we would have any of that if the only people that were dying and getting infected and dying were black folks? Foundational Black Americans. Do you think any of this would be going on? Do you think that there would be any mass hysteria? Do you think that there would be any panic or any fear, any fear if this was just happening in the foundational Black American community? Do you think there would be no toilet tissue, no hand soap? Do you think that all of this would be going on if black folks were the only people catching this stuff and dying from it? No, they wouldn't give a shit. They wouldn't give a flying flip. The only reason why you see all of this hysteria, the only reason why you see all of this is because the powers that be want to use this to implement some other stuff, to usher in some other stuff. That's the reason why we got to be careful. They're saying that in Philly and maybe in some other states that they're not going to pursue a whole lot of criminal charges right now against non-violent offenders. So if you commit a non-violent crime, yeah, they may arrest you, they may book you, whatever the case may be, take your mug shot, do all of that, give you a date to show up in court, but you will not be doing any jail time. You will not be doing any jail time. You'll only be there as long as it takes for them to process you. Then they're going to send you home. So these people that were already criminally minded, already had criminal intent, now they can break into your home, they can break into your business. You understand what I'm saying? They can break into your car. They can do anything that they want to do as long as it's a non-violent crime. And not have to worry about going to jail. And this is indefinite. So folks, you better protect yourself. Instead of worrying about toilet tissue and hand soap, you better be worrying about a handgun and some ammunition. You better protect yourself. You better protect yourself from these would-be criminals, and you better also be ready to protect yourself from whatever this government decides, or the powers that be that control this government decide that they're gonna implement next. You better be prepared. You better be ready. Because this is about a whole lot more than a virus. Because going back to what we originally started with, you got the flu that killed at least 12,000 people in 4 months. The most deadliest virus in the United States. But none of this stuff was implemented. None of this stuff was done because of the flu. So wake up. Because like I said, my question is, what did all of these big wigs know that we didn't know so that they could start jumping ship early? I mean, you got the guy that's the CEO of T-Mobile. Hold on. Yeah, you got the guy that's the CEO of T-Mobile. He's stepping down. If he hasn't already, I'm trying to get to it. Yeah, Bob Iger stepped down in February. That's the guy over Disney. He stepped down in February. I think the person that's over the CEO of Uber Lyft, I think that person stepped down. So I mean, what did these people know? What did they know? That they understood that they had better go ahead on and jump ship. They better go ahead on and throw in the towel. You better go ahead on and take your winnings and run, because it's about to go down. What did they know? And when did they know it? Considering the fact that as soon as the year came in, they started dropping like flies. They started jumping ship like flies. Well, flies don't jump ship, but you know what I mean. So I just thought that was interesting that we got all of these major CEOs. And like I said, if it was just that within itself, and if it was just, maybe 1 or 2 a month, you understand what I'm saying? Or maybe 6 in a 6-month period, or 5 in a 6-month period, or whatever, then you don't pay too much attention to that, because like I said, most, they changing the garden, switching up folks and all this kind of stuff. They doing it all the time. But 219 people in 1 month and counting? Nah. Gas prices going down instead of going up? Nah. Bill Gates dedicated $60 million to going to Africa to stop the spread of the virus. All of this quarantining and curfewing and forcing folks to close down their businesses and close down their restaurants and all of that. This is about a whole lot more than a virus. This is about, a hell of a whole lot more than a virus. But as you can see, the dominant society and other groups are taking full advantage of this. They are taking full advantage of this. The stores, the big companies, all of these folks are taking full advantage of this. Full advantage of your foolishness. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're running around in a state of panic and in a state of fear and not thinking straight. And not realizing that every day you live with a virus that's so much more deadly. Every day you live with a virus that takes out thousands of people every year. And on top of all of that, if you black, you live under the constant threat of violence, harm, death to you and your family. your children. So black folks, you need to chill out. You really need to chill out. I think it's in New York. I believe it was in New York where they are talking about ticketing slash arresting restaurant owners, bar owners who open their businesses. Yeah, they're talking about, giving them citations or arresting them or whatever to people who open their businesses. But if I close my business and you decide, especially in Philly, and I'm sure there are other cities, but I don't know which ones just yet, but especially in Philly, y'all can look that up. But especially in Philly, if I close my business and I'm not allowed to open up my business unless I stand the chance of getting a fine, a ticket, or being arrested or whatever, but you as a criminal can come and break in my business, steal everything that I have, steal everything that I work for, and you ain't got to worry about going to jail. You ain't got to worry about going to jail. So we can't just sit, and go along with this. You know what I'm saying? Folks still go out. Folks, don't quarantine yourself up in a house and lock yourself up in a house. I mean, if you black and you're not locking yourself up in the house every day from them race soldiers out there and them white supremacists out there that are gunning for you because you got this target on your back that says black. If you're not quarantining yourself and staying locked up in the house with that threat hanging over your head every day, all day, then why are you staying in the house because of corona? If you didn't have a case or two of toilet tissue or a case of hand sanitizer at your house before corona, why do you have one now? If you black and you let your children go to school every day and you didn't stop them going to school, seeing all the things that are happening to black kids in these schools, they having they folks is cutting their hair, teachers is jumping on them, resource officers slinging them around, all kinds of stuff going on with these black kids in school. But if you ain't too scared to send your children to school to have to possibly deal with that, then why are you scared now? Because this is nothing new for us. We are always under a threat. It's always somebody gunning for us. We are always somebody's target as foundational black Americans. So if we don't live in fear, you understand what I'm saying? If we don't barricade ourselves in the house, if we don't stop socializing with family and friends and all of that kind of stuff because of that, because of the very real threat that we live under every day, just being black in America, then why are we going to do all of that because of corona? To be quite honest, corona doesn't have as much power to kill you as that race soldier that's about to stop you because your signal light is out, and what was supposed to be a simple traffic stop turns into folk got to bury you, like with Sandra Bland and Philando Castile. But you still get up, even though you live under this constant threat every day, male and female, and even black children, you still get up every day, go on your job, socialize, go to the grocery store, go to the club, go to the library, do what you do. You still do it every day, even though you have this constant threat hanging over your head and you got this huge bullseye on your back. So if you're not afraid of what white supremacy and racism and discrimination will do to you, why are you afraid of coronavirus? Because racism, discrimination, anti-black sentiments, all of that stuff are a whole lot more deadly to black folks than the corona. Again, like I said, Integration just made you soft. Integration just made you soft. Now you can't stand nothing. You can't deal with nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Now the minute the media says something, you start running and acting stupid like all the rest of the folks and all of that. If the folks in the dominant society and them other groups want to hoard toilet paper and sanitize and all them kind of stuff, let them do that. We got bigger fish to fry. But yeah, like I said, it's in Philly, where they're not going to, go through that whole process of putting nonviolent criminals in jail. Like I said, yeah, they'll probably still arrest them, book them, handcuff them, and all this kind of stuff, give them a court date, and then send them about their merry way. Now, will that end up being a setup for most black folks, especially black men? They catch you in the commission of a crime. They take you, they arrest you, they book you, they give you your court date and all that kind of stuff. Then they send you home, and then they find a reason to kill you, shoot and kill you in the street. I mean, it just makes you wonder, because that makes absolutely no sense to me. Just like ICE issued a statement saying that, that because of all of this stuff going on with Corona, that they were only going to pursue the special cases, the crisis cases. And then the government did something with this public charge, and you'll see that if you go to this Grace Mean woman, so that immigrants don't have to worry about being arrested or being detained or whatever if they go in for testing. It's always something for somebody else. It's always something for somebody else. But we're supposed to support them. We're supposed to ride in, you understand what I'm saying? Like Superman, you understand what I'm saying? And fight for them. Because they're getting a little taste of what them and all the other groups have been doing to us for years. So I mean, just don't just be sheeple that just follow these folks into slaughter, because that's what it is. You're becoming sheep that are just following these folks to slaughter. You resist something. You understand what I'm saying? Don't self-quarantine. Don't lock yourself up in your house. Don't avoid contact with other people. Now, of course, I mean, like I said, some of this stuff is common sense. When there was no coronavirus, you don't want people sneezing all over you and coughing all over you and coughing around you without covering their mouths and all of that kind of stuff. You're supposed to wash your hands anytime, especially, when you go to the bathroom or before you're about to prepare a meal or whatever, or when you're dealing with somebody sick or when you're dealing with a baby or whatever. You're supposed to wash your hands. Some of this stuff is just common sense. On just a regular, ordinary day, you don't want to be around somebody that's sick unless it's somebody in your family, or unless you work in the healthcare field or something like that. You don't want to be around people that's sick every day, all day. For years, they have told us, if your children running a fever, keep them at home. There are folks that have gone to work and they were in such bad shape to the management sent them home. Because you finna make everybody in the place sick. And this was long before we ever heard of this strand of corona. So some of this stuff is just common sense. If you know somebody's sick, you don't want to be around that person anyway, because there's the possibility that they could make you sick. But don't stop living your life because of this. Because if you're not scared of a disease that's so deadly that it wipes out at least 12,000 people in 4 months, on an average 3,000 people a month, if you're not panicking and if you're not, if you're not going into mass hysteria and all of that from that disease that's here, and ain't nobody talking about it, ain't nobody trying to do nothing about it, or whatever the case may be. If you're not panicking about that, then why are you panicking about this? Why didn't the media hype up influenza and the flu like they hyping this up? Why don't they constantly report on how many people are infected, and how many people die every year from the flu? Why aren't they reporting on that? Why isn't the CDC talking about that? I'm talking about on a wide scale. Remember, I had to Google it. Why isn't anybody saying, okay, y'all, yeah, the corona is real. We got to deal with the corona, but we got something a whole lot deadlier that has proven itself over the years. It has proven itself to be a killer. So let's not forget influenza. Let's not forget the flu. That's like they did so much hyping about AIDS. When HIV AIDS first came out, they did so much hyping and so much talking about it and so much media press on it and all of that until folks actually started forgetting about the other STDs, the other sexually transmitted diseases, and they started and the number of cases in them started rising because people were so concentrated on AIDS till they forgot there are other sexually transmitted diseases out there that you need to be protecting yourself from. It's not like AIDS came in and replaced all the rest of them. So the cases of chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, PHP, human HPP, human papillomatosis or something, all of those cases just started skyrocketing because because the media kept us so focused on AIDS until we lost track and forgot about all of those other STDs out there that had been there for years before AIDS showed up on the scene. And that's exactly the feel I get as far as corona is concerned. The government wants to keep us hyped up. The media, white supremacists want to keep us hyped up, and all of our focus is on this while we totally forget about these other deadly diseases. We're forgetting about the flu. We're forgetting about some of this other stuff that's even more deadly than this. Like I said, this is only taking 141 people out. In 4 months, the flu has taken out at least 12,000, possibly up to a number of 30,000. So we got to come out the clouds. We got to come out of outer space. We got to come out the twilight zone, and we got to look at this thing for what it really is. And we got to stop believing the hype, because that's just too quick. Everything got to be shut down. States of emergency, curfews, and all of this kind of stuff. No, 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 no. That's sounding too much like martial law. That's sounding too much like the government and the military just coming in and completely taking over. That's sounding too much like getting certain people that are concentrated in certain areas, and corona shows up, especially in these poor areas, which, like I said, are predominantly foundational Black Americans. And then a corona case shows up, and all of a sudden you rounding all these folks up, and we don't see half of them no more. You compare 141 deaths, and I think the first instance of it being in the United States was either the end of January, sometime the 1st of February, right? Okay, so in China, approximately 80,000 people were infected in China. Of that 80,000, only 3,000 died. And China has a population of over 1 billion people. Okay? We've only had 141 deaths. Most of those were senior citizens. Most of those were people over the age of 60 that already had some kind of pre-existing condition. Their immune system was already low. It was already not up to par. You got folks left and right recovering from this stuff. But these folks around here believing the hype and not using their common sense And they buying into this. They're buying into this fear tactic. They're buying into whatever they're setting us up for. Because again, Jason Black asked a good question. Why is it that you want us all in our houses? Why is it that you're telling us to self-quarantine? Why is it that you want us all in the house to stay put? You don't want us to go out. You don't want us to socialize. You understand what I'm saying? You separating us. Why? Why? What is this really all about? Why is the sure sign that the economy is in trouble? Why are we not seeing that? And that is the rise in gas prices. Why are we not seeing that? Why are all these major CEOs or these CEOs of these major companies, why are they all stepping down back to back to back? Folks, you better ask some questions. You better ask some questions. Why is the news media trying to spin what's going on in China and the fact that they are reporting 0 new cases? Why are they trying to spin that as something negative? To say, you know, it might be on the down spiral, but it's gonna come back. And when it come back, there's gonna be a resurgence. And it's gonna come back with a vengeance. Why not just report that there are no new cases in China? Haven't been in some parts of China for 7 days. So why not just report that? Because that would calm some people's fears. That would calm some people's nerves. That would give some people some hope that, okay, if China getting rid of it, and maybe the worst of it is over for us, or maybe we on the we on the downward spiral or whatever. Why you got these folks running around here, especially black folks, and it ain't like we got a whole lot of money that we can just throw away, although we just basically throw away $1.4 trillion a year. But they got you running around here spending all your money on all this unnecessary stupid stuff, all this foolishness that ain't gonna change a thing. You having a closet full of toilet tissue and hand sanitizer is not gonna stop the coronavirus if it gets you. But it seems, and this is not something that anybody said, this is not something that they claim has been proven, but it seems that even though black folks may not be immune to it, it seems that we have some antibodies, some antibodies or whatever's going on in our bodies that cause us to you recover from it a whole lot quicker. So don't buy into the hype. Don't believe the hype, because that's all it is. Like I said, if they didn't hype up influenza, if they're not talking about the flu, and again, I want to express, it killed at least 12,000 people in 4 months. If they're not talking about that, don't pay no attention to this shit. The bigger story is not the coronavirus. The bigger story is, where did the coronavirus really come from and who's really behind the coronavirus? The bigger story is, why are all these CEOs jumping ship right now? And started as soon as 2020 came in, they started jumping ship at unheard of record-breaking numbers. See, that's the bigger issue. Why is this being pushed down our throats as being such a deadly virus, and we've only had 141 deaths? And it's nowhere near as deadly as, like I said, the flu that we deal with every day, that we live with every day. So I'm going to need my foundational black Americans to get it together. I'm going to need my foundational black Americans to stop putting on the cape for these folks. I'm going to need my foundational black Americans to understand that these folks, these groups are not thinking about us. They do nothing to support us. They never mention any of our issues. When they have the perfect opportunity, they don't mention. You didn't see, like I said, you can go on Grace Means Twitter and you will see she has not mentioned anything about black-owned businesses and how this is impacting them and that they might need some help. But they always send out a coon, somebody that look like you. You understand what I'm saying? To spread their foolishness. Because we have no representation. None whatsoever. Now, I don't know whether I already said this in the video, but I'm going to say it again. That's the reason why I urge you not to vote. We have no representation. Somebody in Washington should be doing the same thing for foundational black Americans. Somebody black, preferably somebody in the CBC, the Congressional Black Talkers or whatever they call them. Somebody should be doing the same thing for the foundational black American community as far as the impact that this stuff is having on our businesses, and we need help. We need basically a bailout or whatever. Somebody needs to be doing that for us, just like Grace Ming is doing it for her group. But we don't have anybody that has even mentioned. And if I'm wrong, y'all put a link or comment or something in the description, in the comment section. But I don't think we've had a black politician or representative or whatever even mention how all of this will affect the black community economically. But year after year after year after year after year, we vote these people into office because they look like us. What's the old saying? All skin folk ain't kin folk. And they have shown more since Trump has been in office than ever before. The Democrats, we already knew about the Republicans, but the Democrats and these black politicians and these pastors and these celebrities and all of these folks have shown us more in the last maybe 6 months about what side they are aligned with, where their allegiance falls. And it don't fall with the foundational black American community. So wake up, folks. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up and realize what we're really dealing with. And time for us to really be prepared. And I'm not talking about prepared with toilet tissue and hand soap. I'm talking about prepared to defend ourselves, prepared to defend our families, prepared to defend our homes, our businesses, all of that. We got to be prepared. Because all the food in the world in your freezer ain't going to help you none if they come to snatch you up out your home, or if somebody come thinking that you ain't there and they come in with a home invasion or whatever. So you got to buck back against this. Like I said, don't stay at home. Don't distance yourself. Be careful, yes. Take care of yourself, yes. But don't buy into this fear mongering. Don't buy into this bullshit, because that's what it is. Because like I said, if they didn't do all of this for the flu, then they can stop this bullshit. They can stop this. They can stop this. And in closing, let me say this to all my foundational black American men and women. Y'all running around here, like you're scared of the coronavirus or whatever, running around here engaging in all of this stupidity and all of this foolishness and all of that. Let me ask you a question. If you're not scared to lay up, marry, have children by, or whatever, the dominant society, black man, the white woman has been your biggest enemy and has been the biggest threat to you for 400 plus years and counting. All she had to do to say was say the word, and you was a memory. You was a memory. And it didn't take no 14 days for for them to come and snatch you up and beat you to death, mutilate you, shoot you, hang you, burn you, or whatever, just based on her lying word. But y'all ain't scared of her. Y'all ain't scared to go lay up with her. Y'all ain't scared to have relationships with her. Y'all ain't scared to marry her when she has been the biggest threat to your life for all of this time. Same thing with black women. The white man raped you when he got ready to, made you have his children and turned them into slaves, snatched your babies out your arms and sold them, mutilated you, beat you, burned you, hung you the same way, treated you the same way they treated your man. But you ain't too scared to go lay up with them. You ain't too scared to marry one. You ain't too scared to have babies by them. And they have proven to be the biggest threat to your life. So if y'all ain't scared, of all this intersectional sexual access and all of that, and all of these interracial relationships and all of that stuff, if y'all ain't scared of that, then why are you running around talking about you scared of corona? When corona is nowhere near the biggest threat to you. White supremacy is the biggest threat to you. Always has been, always will be. Until it's brought down and replaced with a system of justice. So black man, black woman, if you ain't afraid, you understand what I'm saying, of all of this swirling that's going on and all of this kind of stuff, if you're not afraid of that, if that don't invoke any fear in your heart, knowing that these people have always been your biggest enemy and have always been the ones to do the most harm to you, if they don't scare you, then why you running around talking about you scared of corona? Why you running around getting mad at other black folks because they ain't scared? Why you running around, trying to promote all of this fear and everything among the black community? Because it looks to me like your fear is displaced. So if you ain't scared of the harmful effects of integrating and intermingling and all of that kind of stuff with the dominant society, if you're not afraid of that, you can get off of this bullshit talking about you afraid of corona. But black folks, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about how black folks are always scared of the wrong thing. Black folks are always pointing the finger at the wrong enemy. Black folks are always alienating the real friend and embracing their open enemy, who has been their enemy for over 500 years. So if you're not afraid of that enemy who has greater access to you, that enemy who historically has meant you more harm and caused you more pain and death and suffering, if you're not afraid of that enemy, then why you running around here, like I said, talking about you afraid of corona? You have no fear. You have no fear. So you can stop lying talking about you afraid of corona. If you're a black man and you going laying up with white women, you understand what I'm saying, and having babies by them and marrying them and being in all kind of relationships with them and all of this kind of stuff, and there's no fear there, well, if you're not afraid of that, then you're not afraid of corona. Same thing, vice versa for black women. Because corona don't mean you half as much harm as white supremacists and white supremacy. And remember, all white supremacists aren't white. There are white supremacists with black faces, black skins. They just have white minds. So if you ain't scared of your open enemy, please stop running around here and you still wanting to dibble and dabble and swirl and all of this kind of stuff with your open enemy. If you're not afraid of that, please stop with this being afraid of corona. But that's it. That's all I have for you tonight. The links will be in the description box along with the link to the video, to the channel. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that bell notification so you can be notified when we upload videos. I want to thank all my subscribers. I want to thank everybody that supports me. I really want to thank y'all. You are greatly appreciated. You don't know how much I appreciate it. But y'all, yeah, let's get on code. Let's stay on code. You know what I'm saying? And black folk, get it together. Get it together. Y'all have a good night.